everyone, and welcome to Take Two Radio Soaps in Review. I'm Pam, your host, for tonight anyhow. And joining me as my co-host will be David and Carolyn, and I did see our guest on hold, but I don't know what happened. He hung up. Oh, there he is again. Okay. Anyways, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you, Pam?
We're doing pretty good. It's warming up a little bit, and I'm getting like the spring fling. You know, the sore throat.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's allergy time. It's 73 degrees today in Chicago, but by Sunday it's going to be 38 and snowing. So I give up. And Carolyn, we don't want to hear what your temperature is every stinking day.
Oh, they're starting to wind down here now. Oh, it's humid. Oh, it's so hot. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's the bad part.
Yeah.
His call keeps dropping, I think. Let me see if I can. I want to pick it up, but then when I go to pick it up, it disappears. Who's playing games with me?
I'm not touching anything.
Mercury retrograde.
Oh, not again, please. Okay. All right. So we'll wait while we're waiting for him. Tonight we have two special guests calling in, and they're very talented, very handsome. Wouldn't you guys agree? Well, I don't know if David would agree they're handsome, but, you know.
Yes, I saw the pictures. Yes, they are.
Yeah, too bad, Carolyn, that you weren't watching Days when Kevin was on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I got interrupted. I got a text. Okay, we're going to try this again. I know one of our guests are here, and that's the very talented and handsome Kevin-Spirtas. And I hope I'm saying his name correctly. I mean, I don't think there's any other way to say it except with an accent, and forget accents for me. You know how that goes. You know, I sound like a white girl every time, even though I took Spanish lessons. But some of our listeners may recognize Kevin from Days of Our Lives as Dr. Craig. Oh, my gosh. Those were so much. Oh, my gosh. I just miss those days. So he needs to get his arse back on, but we're happy that he's joining us tonight to talk about his brand new series, After Forever, which debuts on April 24th, let me say that correctly, 24th, on Amazon. And his leading man is Mitchell Anderson, and we're waiting for him to call in. But in the meantime, hello, Kevin. Now, did you hear me blabber on?
I love hearing you blabber on. I love hearing you blabber on about the good old days on Days of Our Lives. And, yeah, they were good days. They were good days for all of us. Thank you for having me on the show, and I guess Mitchell will pop in shortly, I guess.
Well, we're just going to have to stand here and have dead air until he calls in.
No. I'm here to give you hugs over the air. Hugs over the air. How's everything going over there for you? Good?
Yeah. We were talking about our weather, and, you know, David's in New York. I'm in Chicago. Carolyn's in Florida.
Well, okay. And I'm in L.A.
You're in Cali, so I think we've covered all coasts, right?
Well, all coasts have been covered, and Mitchell's calling from Atlanta, so, you know.
Right. So there you go with another one. So the Florida, the California, and the Georgia people are not allowed to talk about weather.
You know, weather's weather. Weather's weather anyway, so, you know, what are you going to do?
Well, when you live in snow 10 months out of the year, I just need to move, that's all. So while we're waiting for Mitchell to call in, because we don't want to get into the questions, because of course, you know, he has to be part of that. Sure. Oh wait, there he is.
Here he is. There he is.
There he is.
Hello.
Mitchell.
Hello, here I am.
Mitchell.
Hi.
Yay! We're glad you called in.
Oh,
Yeah, Mitchell, I'm really glad you called in, buddy.
Yeah, I know, right? You've only reminded me about 40 times.
I counted 50. 50, sir.
Just like a good marriage, you know.
Yeah, right?
Well, you know,
it works out perfectly.
If you can't marry the guy, you got to write a part that he can play so you can marry him on camera, right?
Exactly.
Well, there you go.
It works out either way, so we're all good with it.
Yeah.
We're all good with it.
Well, first off, congrats on your series and getting it on Amazon. I mean, that's huge, and we're so excited for you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Kevin did all the work. I just came and played.
You stood there and looked pretty, right?
Yes.
He stood there and acted his ass off. Let's call it what it is. This guy is. I'm glad you came back to do the project, Mitchell. Thank you.
Yeah, it had been a long time since I'd been on camera, so it was kind of a revisiting my former life, which was an awesome experience.
Yeah, and you just answered one of David's questions. So, David, mark that one off your list.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, David. I didn't mean to preempt you.
That's okay. Well, before we get started talking more about the series, let's get to know you guys a little bit better. You know, well, the listeners, maybe some are not familiar with you. Mitchell, you're new to me, and I'm so happy to get to know you better. But let's start out with Kevin. How did you get your start in show business, and what was your first professional job?
Oh, wow. As a kid, I gravitated toward the television and watched everything that had entertainment on it, live entertainment, singing, dancing, performance acts. I grew up with the Sonny and Cher show and Carol Burnett show and those variety shows, and even the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson was kind of more of a real spread of a lot of theatrical performance acts. So that was what inspired me. And my first professional job was the Palace, playing the Palace at Six Flags over Mid-America, where I sang and danced 8 shows a day.
I love it.
But no, I throughout the years at school, I've been singing choir and do the plays and the musicals there. But at 18, I went to New York and I knocked on the stage door of the Shubert Theater because I heard they had an audition for a chorus line. They were replacing someone in a chorus line, and I said I wasn't equity, but if they thought I was good for the show, here I am. And they called me 2 days later, and a week later I had an audition, and I got the job.
Wow. I don't think it's that easy normally, is it?
Yeah, I don't. It looks like that was easy. Yeah, I know. But I did have to, pound the pavement for a good 3 months in New York in the winter. Yeah,
and
it was a
took
pretty
a lot
easy
of
way.
guts too.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I think it's the business is so different now. The business is you have to do everything on your own, which is why I went and made the series. But anyway, at that time it was a possible way to do that. They don't do that anymore. You can't knock on a stage door without being shot.
Well, so, that's just it. Yeah, that's the part that I was talking about. It can't be that easy now to do that, just to go ahead and knock on the door, have someone answer and say, oh, sure, yeah, we'll listen. You come on.
Yeah. Well, and at that time the show had been playing for quite a while, so they were looking for new blood. But in honesty, but I think that whole experience was, more about focus and determination and a vision of what I knew I wanted to do and what I could do at that time. And I think that was just opportunity meeting preparedness, and you kind of make your own luck that way. So.
And Kevin,
Right.
don't you think that when you're 19, you are fearless?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 18 years old, 19, those teens. I was very new to New York. You know, you could have said, go over to Times Square and sing out loud, and they're going to discover you. I don't know. They would have said anything, I would have believed it. But I just think that you have a very, very open-minded approach to everything because you want it so badly. And
Right. How is your singing voice now? Are you belting out any songs, making any albums? What you doing with that?
I'm not making any CDs at the moment, but I still sing. Singing is my first love, really, and I just I'm actually a performer. Mitchell's going to get to see me down in Griffin, Georgia, in what is it? It's a week from yesterday. A week from today, actually, the 19th. And I'm performing my concert down there, and I keep singing. I like doing it.
Well, I'd love to hear you sing sometime. Do you already have CDs out?
I have one CD out called Night and Days, about my nights on Broadway and my days on Days of Our Lives. And it's really a journey. It's a journey story. It's a journey show that I fill in a lot of the story with music and American Songbook and popular shows that I had been part of, and it sort of weaves the story together of how I got from St. Louis to New York to LA and then back to Broadway. So
okay, well, I'm going to have to check that out. That sounds good.
Good. Buy about
good.
20 of them and give them away for gifts. That's always
okay.
a good idea.
No problem. I'm right on that. Now, what did you said you liked the live shows and the theater, of course. Did you get a chance to watch Jesus Christ Superstar live?
I'm going to be quite honest and tell you, no, I didn't. It's taped. I was working on post-production of After Forever. We were doing our Amazon mock-ups of what the look will be when we're doing when you go to Amazon and you select the show. So that was being done that night, and I could not take time out to do it. I love all of those shows, though. They're so fantastic. And, of course, I had done Hairspray in Vegas with Harvey Fierstein, and I loved when they did that version on TV. So.
Yeah, I have loved every single one of them that they've put out, but I'll have to tell you, Jesus Christ Superstar was by far the best one I've seen. And
I've heard.
It was phenomenal. I'm telling you, it just was wow. John Legend and the guy that played Judas, I can't think of his name.
I saw the first hour of it, but I have to go to bed early because I get up so early to go to the kitchen. So I turned it off, but I understand that I really liked it, and I think the format was really great for live television because it was more of a concert, and there was some of the other ones that they've done have been a little bit more challenging, I thought, just because to perform a play or a musical without an actual audience is a little bit disconcerting. But I thought this one worked really well. And I thought the singers, the acting was great. John Legend was amazing, of course. Sarah Bareilles, is that her name? Yeah,
right.
She was great. I really would like to see the whole thing, and we'll at some point watch it on demand. But
yeah, I'm sure they have it somewhere because I know a couple of my friends didn't get to see it either. So we're going to have to watch.
It's available on at least on Comcast on demand because I've seen it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So there
Thank
you go.
For that information.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, we're big fans of Days of Our Lives and talking about it. And Kevin, you played Dr. Craig Wesley. And how did you get the part? Did you audition? What's your favorite memory from Days? I mean, tell us a little bit about that.
You're asking me all my good gold stories here. I was down on my luck. I was not working. I had a very, very long dry spell, and it was a really challenging time. And I was doing anything from assisting two different interior designers. I was running errands as an assistant to a person in the business. I was doing everything. And I even was asked to do this musical called Three Guys Naked from the Waist Down, where I was even getting naked. No, kidding. I was,
Don't tease us.
I know. It's a show about three comedians, and comedians always say, it feels like you're naked, at least from the waist down when you're on stage telling comedy, and that's where this was written from. But someone said, would you do the show? And I thought, at least I'd be doing something creative. I'll have a schedule. I'll have something to create with, and who knows? Who knows what will happen? And God love Fran Bascom, our dear departed Fran Bascom, who I think she passed away about 2-3 years ago. She was the casting director at the time for Days of Our Lives. And she had always wanted me to work on that show, and she was always a really great champion of mine. And she found me at the theater one night. She goes, Kevin, I can't get a hold of you. You don't have an agent. You don't have a picture in the Actors Academy directory. And where are you? I said, I'm right here. I couldn't afford a lot of the upkeep as an actor. I was really having a bad time. And she said, well, there's a 2-day role coming up on Days. Will you do it? And I said, will you pay me? And she said, yes. And basically, Dr. Craig Wesley was introduced during this 2-day storyline moment with Mike and Carrie, and being a rival of Mike's, Mike Horton. And I just know that I had to do my very best. And I went in there, and I kind of pretended like I was on that set already, like it wasn't something I was just visiting. I remember going onto that set going, I can make this place a home. This is nice. This feels right. And that night at about 11:30 p.m., I was just getting ready for bed. I had learned my lines the next day, and Fran calls me, hysterical. What? She says, Kevin, the producer, the executive producer just called me. He never calls me. I go, oh, God, what did I do? She goes, he said, where did they find you? He said, he never calls me. He loved you. Go back and do the same thing tomorrow. And I went, okay. 8 months later, they gave me a role.
That was perfect. I'm glad that you did your best and you didn't screw it up.
I know. It was all counting on that.
Oh, my gosh. And to work with, Patrika Darbo as your wife, I mean, how much do you love her?
She's a lifelong friend. She's really great. She's wonderful. She's great. She's great. We had a great time becoming the #1 non-conventional couple of daytime, and she's great in the sense that she's always, even outside the show, she's always there for you. She's always present. She was at the screening here in Los Angeles for After Forever, and she was sick when she showed up. She just really wanted to see it and support us, and I was really grateful for that. So.
It's always great to have a friend like that.
Yeah.
It really is.
So what's your favorite memory?
Of Days of Our Lives?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh. I could sit here and contemplate. Let me think about it, and I'll pop it out shortly. I'll just I'm trying to think back what was I got the job. That was exciting.
That's one of the best, right?
Yeah.
Well, Mitchell, same for you. How did you get your start in show business, and what was your first professional job?
Well, very much like Kevin, I grew up in doing high school musicals, and I was in 3 different choral groups in high school. And when I went to college, I thought I was going to be a doctor, but I would always take one theater class. So halfway through college, I informed my parents that I wasn't going to be a doctor, and I thought that I would major in theater. Is that okay? And my parents were amazing and said, absolutely, we know that you'll be great. Go and do it. And I was fortunate enough to get accepted to Juilliard after college.
Oh, yeah.
And then as it happens, in my very first semester of Juilliard, I was living in New York City on the Upper West Side, and I was at the Dublin House on a Sunday afternoon. The Dublin House is a pub on 79th Street, having a beer with a friend, and this guy came up to me and said, hey, I have created a musical that is going to go into workshop, and it's a pre-Broadway tryout. And I'd love for you. You seem like you'd be the perfect for this one part. So the next day, I went down and I auditioned, and 2 days later, I got the part, and I went to my teachers at Juilliard and said, I accidentally got a part in a Broadway show. And what do you think?
I accidentally tripped into the stage door and auditioned for them. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
Mitchell, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and so I ended up leaving Juilliard, and I did this show. It was about the Civil War. I played the archetypal Yankee soldier named Billy Yank. It workshopped in New York City, played for about 4 months at Ford's Theater in D.C., and unfortunately never went back to Broadway, but that got me an agent, and, you know, much like Kevin, it was like, oh, suddenly I'm a professional actor. And, you know, I started my career 3.5 years before I expected to. And then I went on to sort of do bigger and bigger roles in television. And, you know, I did
we
it
both
for...
played doctors.
Yes, I played a doctor on TV too.
There you go.
So it was great. I worked a lot and, you know, made a little bit of, you know, I feel like I created a nice resume of work. And then when I was in my late 30s, I thought, you know what? I think I'm ready to do something else. So that's when I moved to Atlanta, and I went into the restaurant business as a trainee chef. And for the last 12.5 years, I've had my own restaurant in Atlanta called Metrofresh.
Oh. And are you the chef there?
Yes, I'm the head chef and creator. I've got 2 other chefs that work for me, but I'm one of 3 that go in every day and create the food.
Oh my gosh, it's so awesome!
I just must say, it is such a great restaurant, and it's this wonderful little jewel in the middle of Atlanta, and it's got a great feeling, great food, and the best thing is that you get to stay with Mitchell at his house sometimes, and then he just brings food from the restaurant.
No. That's right. So the cool
but I
thing
want to
for
thank
me is
Mitchell. I want to thank your chefs though for filling in for you when you came out to do the show, because if it wasn't for them.
So when Kevin approached me about the show, I had to go to both of my other guys and say, hey, I think I might be gone for 2.5-3 weeks. Do you mind? And because I
accidentally got another part, is what you told them, right?
Right.
I did. I accidentally got another part. So they were very gracious, and as it happened, the production was going to give me a couple of days off so I could come back and relieve them for at least a day. But the day that I was supposed to come back, it was one of those weather things in New York City, and you couldn't get out. And literally, was supposed to go back on a Friday, and they said, well, yeah, we can send you on Monday. I said, well, that's not good because I'm coming back to New York on Saturday. So anyway, I ended up staying for 3 weeks straight. Everything was fine. The restaurant didn't burn down. My chef didn't quit. So
thank
that's
God.
And
I think David and I need to take a road trip and go visit your restaurant and stay at your house.
Oh yeah, there you go. But the cool thing is that I created over 12 years a really great community restaurant where we're going to do a premiere here in Atlanta. I'm calling it a binge watching night at this cool old theater called the Plaza, and I'll invite my whole restaurant, a lot of my customers, and they'll show up, and so that's super cool. That's lots of fun.
We're doing a binge watching of After Forever. It's a binge watching of After Forever. We're doing the binge watching of After Forever, the whole series.
That is perfect. That is perfect, and I wish I could be there, honestly. you know, with being in different states all the time for David and I, and, you know, I get invited to premieres and things like that, I always have to say no because it's always in New York or it's always in California or whatever. You know, hello, Chicago's not just a dot on a map, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
It depends
All
on,
right, Kevin,
on where you're looking at it from.
And do a binge watch.
Yeah, but let's do it there, Mitchell. Let's go do a binge watch in Chicago.
All right,
yeah.
Please do. Please
Mitchell,
do. And now, I have a lot of listeners that are going to listen to this, and they're going to hold you to it when I say, you know what, they said they were coming to Chicago, and I haven't seen them. It's been 3 years. You know, I don't know what's going on here.
Well, you know, hey, if you can fill a theater, we'll come.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can fill it myself, sure.
Well, Mitchell had this great idea. Mitchell had a great idea. He said once the series is up and running, which is going to be next week or so, 2 weeks, he said, let's do a benefit for one of these, you know, associations and organizations that I've been part of throughout the years. And Michael Slade and I both looked at each other and said, yeah. And so who are we doing this for, Mitchell?
We're doing it for the Atlanta Film Society.
That'll be great.
Yeah, they were very kind and gave us a theater that they work with, and we're going to do, you know, pay what you can at the door, and it's going to be, you know, it'll be a fun night because having been to a couple screenings already in New York and LA, it's really great to watch it with, you know, in a theater.
Well,
it's
yeah,
also
and
great
see
to watch
all
it
the
with
people's reactions, you know, to it. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I think the wonderful thing for all of us, I mean, Mitchell and I didn't even expect it, but when Michael Slade and I were standing in the back of the New York screening of After Forever, we were doing this for for our cast and our crew, and it was for us to see the work that we had created. And you know, Michael and I have been like so focused on it all the time. You know, editing, and you sort of blur out a lot of it to get to the one point that the scene that you're working on, and seeing it all together up in front of you like that, and hearing everybody's reaction. I think that when you do see After Forever, if you can, you should see it with someone you love, because this is a story about love and loss and new beginnings and how people continue to work and heal their lives from any type of that sort of work, experience. So that's what was so great also, I think Mitchell was saying about the collective support in that theater. We're all just crying, all just laughing together. So.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Well, I had another question for Mitchell, but since you, Kevin, you've already told our listeners what the series is about.
Don't take your time away. I'm sorry. I was just asking.
I can come back to. I can come back to that question. I mean, it might be a short answer. It might be a yes or no answer. So, all right, Mitchell, I know Party of Five was huge, and fans would probably love to see that show make a comeback, you know, like we've seen recently with Roseanne and, you know, all the other ones that have done the reboot thing. Would you even consider doing something like that now that you've kind of made a comeback yourself?
As long as it's in second position to After Forever.
Yes, exactly, Kevin. I would never. Nothing will be ahead of After Forever. You know, it's really interesting to be in a completely different career for 15 years. I love acting, and I think that as you get older, you get better at it, and I will always do it. So if they called me tomorrow from, if Chris Kaiser and Amy Littman called me tomorrow from Party of Five and said, hey, Ross, the violin teacher, needs to be on set tomorrow, on Friday, I would definitely do it.
Would you? Oh, that would be cool.
I love it, but it's such a freeing experience not having to do it.
Right. Yeah, you're not committed to walking the pavement and trying to find your next job, and
right.
It was also
otherwise
different for, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, Mitchell and I were both on the set of our show, and and there was such an ease, I think Mitchell and I were discovering, because first of all, it was self-created by two people who wanted to do something and create something. So Michael Slade and I had that for ourselves, but there was a non-boss-like feeling. Don't you agree, Mitchell? Like we were just having fun, and that's what was so exciting about being on the set together. And it was not pressured, and thank God we didn't have any major deadlines or major breakdowns of any kind, and we made it under budget. So that's a good feeling too. But there was an element of ease that went on.
Kevin, for me, I think that was very true. I can't imagine how you were able to do it, having raised the money and got all the people. I mean, you had so many hats. I mean, that was an amazing feat for you to be able to bring such great work on screen, but also have all of that stuff going on behind the scenes. So my hat's off to
Thank you. Well, thank you.
But, for me, it was awesome. It was freedom. It was great. I've never had that experience before.
Well, neither have I.
That's not easy. I think that's not easy for anybody, and for you to be able to pull that off. And I know we've interviewed a couple other people that have worn several hats during making of a movie or a series or something like that. That's not easy. One thing I wonder about though is like when you're acting. When you're doing your acting part, are you thinking of just that at that time, or are you thinking about everything?
Well,
is your mind like nonstop?
It is an interesting question, and I just want to first say thanks, Mitchell. I think it takes an army. It takes a village, and if it wasn't for Michael Slade, who I really got to know only is in the process of doing this, because Michael Slade was a writer on Days of Our Lives just as I was exiting the show. He had come onto the show as a staff writer, and we had reunited in New York. Very, a very simple coincidence. We were at the same gym, and he said, "Are you Kevin-Spirtas?" And I said, "Yes." And we introduced ourselves, and I just pitched it at him. I pitched this story idea. I had not even thought it out as much as I knew I wanted to do it, and I knew that someone with his experience could be helpful. So that came at him like, "Hi, my name's Kevin. You want to do a series?" And he kind of laughed at it, but he had also been kind of been tossing around the idea of doing a series like this himself. So, long story short, we had some ideas, we put them together, and we came up with After Forever. But Michael's experience in the business. I mean, Michael's a great writer, and he's a very smart man. He also holds this energy like a producer. So I kind of just always looked up to him like, well, he'll help me cover this, or this will get covered. And so I had a great team partner. And with that, as he's getting to know me, he'd come up to me once in a while and go, "Now listen, you're doing a great job, but I need you to take off your producer hat right now because," and he would do something, and it wouldn't be because I was acting with the producer hat on, but in between takes I'd be going, "Did we get that thing taken care of? Allison, did we?" Oh, and Allison Van Orp, by the way, she is the producer of all producers. This girl, this lady, she is amazing. I would not have done anything without her, because she said, I kept saying to her, "Now I'm going to ask you questions, and you're going to tell me what to do. And I'm going to ask you again because I'm going to want to understand what you're telling me that I have to do. And when I ask you a third time, it's just because I want to annoy you." And I just didn't know anything. I'm telling you, she'd say, "Okay, now we have to open this account, and we have to do this, and we have to get the set." And "Yes, ma'am." And I would just do it. But in all of this, craziness that was going on, I would think about, oh God, my phone will not leave me alone. I would think about the fun I was having, and I just sort of played it like a kid at a candy shop. I was just having fun on the set. So when I'm doing a scene, I'm doing the scene most likely, unless something falls, and I go, "Oh, the camera fell. Guess that's not in the scene." Not theater, so you have to stop.
Also, you have to, you were surrounded, by me, of course, but also by an amazing cast of great New York actors. And I mean, the ensemble is just beautiful. So when you're in a scene, you're actually in a scene. And that was so cool.
And thank you. I was just going to say, Mitchell, thank you, because I believe, and this is what I told Michael from the day one. We were writing this. I think we were into like our fourth episode. We were writing the fourth episode, and I said, who do you think you might see as Jason, playing Jason? And he said, well, I don't know. Who do you see? I said, I think Mitchell Anderson. And he just went, isn't he retired and in Atlanta working in a restaurant? I said, it's his restaurant, and I know he still likes to act. And it was like my one producer moment. I said, I don't think I can do this without Mitchell. And I had Mitchell in mind because of this. Because Mitchell and I go back, what? Is it 30?
Since the mid-80s.
25? Early 80s, we became friends in an acting class, and we've stayed friends since. And we had never actually worked together in the business, but there was just, I knew for myself, I had to create half of a relationship where it was going to be easy and loving and friendly, and there's physicality, and there's a lot of
familiarity.
Familiarity, exactly. And I said, I don't know if I have that with any one person more than I would have it with someone like Mitchell. And Mitchell's an actor, and he knows the way around the set. And I just went, I think this would be really great. And he says, well, ask him. So I am grateful every time I think about this. That phone call when you came back and said, I read the script. When do we start? Because he just wanted to do it.
Well, yeah,
thank you.
It was quite something to be, asked to read a script, and if you like it, will you do it? But also another
for no
thing
money.
To read the script and go, holy moly, this is an amazing script. In my career, I had a pretty wide range of parts, but this particular part was incredibly emotional. It went through an incredible journey, but it was also funny. And, wow, it was just an amazing experience and an incredible opportunity. And who knew it? Who knew I could do it, except for Kevin.
I did.
I was going to say, Kevin did.
I did. And I love you for it, Mitchell. It's so fantastic. It's not every day you get to pick your cast. It's not every day you get to create with people you love and you work with, you want to work with. And Mitchell and I just sort of laughed at it. He goes, oh, Kevin, I'm not really, I don't think so. I said, just read the script. So, thank you for reading the script.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it brings me out of retirement, but it was an amazing feeling to watch this show all complete in New York and LA with people that I respected and have known for many, many years in my show business life, knowing that, it's not going to make or break my career now, but it was an amazing experience, and just, it was a delight. It really was. Kevin convinced me to come out to the LA screening, and that was really cool. It was really, because there's so many people that I've known for 25, 30 years that were there.
Yeah. And they all loved it.
Nice to see people, probably that you haven't seen for a while either.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was great.
Now, how did you end up with Jen Pepperman? I mean, she's phenomenal, too. Director, producer for One Life to Live, As the World Turns. I mean.
Well, and I'll just say this as a blanket answer. Everything about this series and about this show and about the cast and about the crew, it came about exactly as it should have, when it needed to, and there was never a question about, oh my God, did we make the right choice? Oh my God, every step along the way, and I told you this, I had run into Michael, and he's just an alumni, from Days of Our Lives. I didn't know him personally. I only knew his name. And so here's this crazy guy going, hey, let's write a series, and I'm accosting him basically, and I knew what I needed to get in alignment for me to begin telling a story like this. And whatever he needed on his end, we created this meeting. So then after we had been working on this, for about we had written the project, and then we had a reading of it in New York City. And I said to Michael, I said, we should do a reading because I think this is a good way for the community, because I had been producing on Broadway with a couple of things, and I just knew that we needed to get this out there, to get the energy and the idea of this out there. And we did this reading for about 70 people, and they all rushed us and said, you have to do this. You have to do this. And that's when the thinking became very clear and strategic choice-making. Who do we know and how do we get to them? And Jennifer had just finished doing a short film that was with a couple actors from the soap world, Austin Peck and his wife. It was a two-person film that Michael could not go to the screening of, but I was going to be in town, and I said, I'll go to the screening and I'll introduce myself. And Jennifer had written and directed this incredible short. It was amazing. And I went, well, if she's not our director, then we shouldn't do this, So Michael called her up, and we talked, and blah, 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 blah. So that's how we got Jennifer. And it just, again, it kept presenting itself. Everyone kept presenting themselves. Even certain cast members were not the first choice, not because we didn't think that they could do it, but we knew other people we could get to sooner and quicker and easier. And that's the cast is exactly as it's supposed to be. Any one of those actors could have been on the moon, and it still would have been their part. We just had to get to them.
Right. And you found a way. That was, it was just meant to be, and that's all there is to it. That's
the whole energy of After Forever is it's meant to be. It's already done. So. Right.
Now, this is going to be kind of a funny question, at least I think it is to me, or strange maybe. I don't know, but I'm going to ask it. So,
ask it.
How did you choose the names of your characters? I always wonder how people do that. Just whatever comes to mind, or I don't know how that works.
It is funny. I haven't thought about that day, actually, but now you just asked that question. I remember sitting in the room, and we were starting to think about, I think it's also about names you like. There's people in your life who you like, and it symbolizes an energy or something. But a lot of people call me Brian. They'll say, hey, Brian. Oh, no, it's Kevin. Oh, right. Sounds like, oh, yeah, okay, it's Kevin. And, and I had another name. I thought we were going to name it Kyle. I thought that I was going to be Kyle at first. And there's a sound that Kyle makes that all of a sudden wasn't sounding right. But I had asked Michael Slade when we began this, I said, I just want to play a character that I can just put down the phone and walk on set, and there I am. I've arrived as that character. I don't want to have to put on a cape and a mustache and a top hat, and I don't want to do any of that. I just wanted to be a slice of who I am, part of me. And that's what I wanted to have the ease in going on to that type of a character. And so with that came, a name like that has to kind of be a name that it sort of embodies that. And that's how Brian got named. And I think Michael said he'd always liked the name Jason for Jason's role, and for Mitchell's role. And I went, I like that name. And Jason, I think, kind of fits you, Mitchell, the name Jason. I don't know. I think so.
Okay.
I think.
It certainly did last.
You'll always be Jason to me.
For 3 weeks.
What?
3 weeks when we were shooting,
yeah.
So. Yeah.
Sure did. Yeah.
Wow, that was quick. 3 weeks to shoot the whole thing?
3 weeks?
The whole series?
12 days, actually.
12 days. Why was that?
It was a 12-day shoot, but we were there earlier before and did some photo sessions, had a rainy day. We actually had to come back one day in the summer and shoot the scenes in the park because it was still kind of cold and wet and rainy that day. So.
Yeah, you always take that chance when you have to do something outdoors, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unless you're in California or something where it's sunshine all year round.
It's not sunshine all year round. I mean, it's sunny today, but
Well, by the way, CAROLYN dropped from the call log here, and she's tried to call in several times, and for some reason she can't get through, and she doesn't know what's going on. So, unfortunately, she won't be able to ask her question, but I you know, we're going. Well, I have her question, but Mitchell pretty much answered it already. So she was saying, can you tell us how the part of Jason came about, so we know how that came about. So
Okay.
At least
Good.
it was answered.
I don't want her to go to bed tonight thinking, I didn't get my question answered. Gosh.
Yeah. And
but I was having trouble
another
getting online earlier too. Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes that happens with Blog Talk. I mean, thankfully it's not all the time. It's just once in a blue moon. So today just happens to be one of those days. But fingers crossed. So far we're so good. Now there was another co-host that was supposed to be on, Candice. Unfortunately, she got stuck at a parent-teacher conference, so she couldn't make it. So I'll ask her question for her, and her question is, what message would you like the audience to have after watching your series?
Oh, that's a great question.
That is a great question. You know, this is a lot of people are going to be fooled very easily because of its content. You know, this is about a gay couple who is going through a situation in life, and they deal with loss. And immediately someone says, well, you know, this is really, you know, this is a gay thematic piece. It should belong in the gay film and TV series section. Michael and I were very, very careful to not just create that, because that is not who we are. And I think this is, I personally, and I think Michael would agree, is that this is something that opens your eyes to seeing that the fact that we are all the same, and we are basically here together, and we're all going to go through the same experiences. Whether you're wearing clothes that say you're going to do this with a man and a woman, or you're wearing the costume that says you're going to do this with a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, this is about love at its very, you know, essence, and its heart is about loss. And when we go through loss, there is nothing that can help that through until you have to go through it and heal through it and come out of it. And that's what we wanted to write about. I think that's what I'd like to do. So it doesn't matter if it's gay or straight. It's about togetherness, and it's about I couldn't
agree more. I mean, to me, love is love, and I don't care who it is, you know. So that's perfect. I'm so glad that you didn't pocket yourself into just that LGBT community.
It's not at all that you can't be part of that community, but this is we looked at each other, and Michael and I talked about friends who have had experiences like you will find within this storyline, and we just went, wow, that just puts you that clears the playing field, and that makes you all the same and all equal. And wouldn't you agree, Mitchell? I almost called you Jason.
Yes, I would, and I would add that having the two main characters in their, you know, solidly middle age, have a real full physical. I know that was very important to you, Kevin, but you know, just have a real life, you know, a real relationship and passion, and you know, laughter and sadness and tears, and you know, I think that translates to a very relatable world.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it will be successful, and I think that it won't be pigeonholed into just a story for the gay community.
Yeah.
And Michael, it's one of the things that attracted me about the script, is that it was about a relationship. It was about marriage, and how when marriage is torn apart by you know, loss,
circumstances,
by circumstances, you know, it's universal.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think also Michael's just a couple of years older than I am, I think. and he too had wanted to create something that gave men of our age a powerful stand in life, and a very you know, we're still active and we're still, able and we can do things still. We're not just these young men in the community who have a lifespan up to like 29 or 30, and then you cut to an older man down the hall with a cat. That's just not who we are all the time. We can be that, but it's not everyone. And I think actually the gay thematic part of this series, we're like the normal of this series. It's the straight people who are like the oddballs in this one, because they are all kind of wanting to be in our life, And we have a lot of mix of people in and out of our life, and it's just very, very. Yeah.
Well, I have to say that when I watch a series or television show or a movie or something, I don't look at, oh my gosh, there's a man and a man. Oh my gosh, there's a man and a woman. I just look at the couple and that's it. Mm-hmm. And I watch it for their story. And I think that there's many people like myself that do that. So, that's just like the perfect answer for, you to give about the series.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that fits, because that's what we wanted. And I also want to say too, it's like there's the 2% of everybody and hear about having your attitude or your viewpoint that don't think that way. And as a matter of fact, I just 2 days ago received a Facebook comment, and I just kind of had to laugh at it, because the Facebook and the Instagram and the Twitter social media, we've been putting pictures of moments in the script and moments in the story with the dialogue, and some of them are of Mitchell and I holding each other, or there's a kissing one, but they're not all that. And as soon as that one hit, I was waiting to see what's going to come out. And this one man said, I don't mind gay people, but do you have to put it in front of us? And I just let it go. I'm not going to get in.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but
Yeah, those are the people that you ignore, because it's only a back and forth thing once you start acknowledging them, and you'll never win.
Well, I just hope that this person and the people
set
like
in their
that,
ways. So.
I hope that this person and the people like that will have an opportunity or be curious enough to maybe see exactly what this is, and this story can hopefully help change their mind or help write them back to a center place where it's not a difference anymore. So. Right.
Well, let's hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I'd really like to see that happen.
Me too.
David, Mr. Quiet as a Mouse over there,
yeah.
I think that you have some questions.
I didn't know he was still there.
Yeah, I know. I started to wonder if his call dropped off, too.
No, I'm still here.
Hi, David. How you doing, buddy?
Hi.
Do you find this all fascinating, David?
What?
Find this all very fascinating?
I do. I really do.
Okay, good.
Good question. That's a good question.
Good question.
Man of so few words, but
yeah.
he has some questions.
But when you speak,
so.
everyone listens.
Yeah, I do.
Right.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Mitchell, what do you believe drew Jason to Brian? And vice versa.
Oh my gosh, that's a really
well.
Good
We have the one scene, Mitchell. We have the one scene.
Right. So, at the opening of every episode, there's.
Don't give it away.
No. Okay. Oh my God, I don't know. There's a mutual ability to laugh at situations. There's an attractiveness to art. I mean, a passion for art and literature. I know they sound super boring, but I think that there was also a very there was a hotness to their meeting. I think it was when you find somebody who's on the same page as you are for what you find beautiful in life, that's when you get the connection, and I think that's what it was. How did I do, Kevin?
I love you, Mitchell. I think you did. That's great. That's great. I think, yeah. I mean that there's a lot of Michael Slade and Kevin-Spirtas in both of these characters, I think, and to look at Mitchell, it ain't bad either. Physicality is nice, but there is a hotness to us, and the feeling of that couple, but I think it's, they have everything, and I think we kind of, I don't know, I think we kind of possess a little bit some of these qualities within each other, and that too is easy in the casting, but I think it's a very, it's about connecting with someone, and I think that the attributes we gave each other and the behaviors we gave each other in the story were things that were easily to fall in love with, or to fall in attraction with, or to like a
yeah, and
person.
the cool thing about as the series plays out and the way the story is told in flashback, you see those moments that it just makes so much sense that they're together, and I love that.
I love flashback.
There's a moment. I'm just going to say, I can't say which scene it is, but I see it every time when we were editing. And there's a moment when Mitchell looks at me after telling his parents something, and he lets out this sigh, like, "Oh, I was able to do that," and he's so proud of it. And I fall apart every time I see it. I'm still triggered by it, because it was so honest and authentic with Anita Gillette and Lenny Wolpe, who played his parents, are fantastic in this series. And I just got to say, it's a moment I will never forget. So, yes. Thank you, Mitchell.
That was very great.
You guys are so sweet. I just cannot even wait to see this. I mean, the trailer was enough in itself to hook me. But hearing you guys talk about it, and your passion and your friendship and your gratefulness and your blessings and everything that you stand for, it's so much more. It makes that series so much more.
Well, thank you, and thank you for recognizing that, because I think that when you can recognize your own blessings and your own, when you can hone that passion and be able to do it, it's pretty amazing. It's powerful.
Yeah. It is powerful. Yeah, thank you.
David, you have a question for Kevin.
Oh.
Yes, Kevin, you have been lucky to work with two different Michaels, Michael Slade from After Forever and Michael Caruso from Winterthorn. What did these two men bring to you about the business?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, they're such incredibly talented and gifted, artists and creatives, I will call it. I didn't know Michael Caruso. I didn't know Michael Slade. Michael Caruso was, he was casting. He knew who I was. He had worked with a lot of people I had worked with on Days of Our Lives, and I guess he was a name that was sort of floating around in the daytime, the daytime work world. But I didn't really have a face that went with him, and I had no experience of knowing him. But he and his wife Barbie were creating this new show called Winterthorn, and I had been looking online, and I saw this picture of oh God, I just lost her name. She played Belle on Days, the second Belle.
Martha Madison?
Yeah.
Thank you, Martha. Forgive me, Martha. I've got a lot in my head. But Martha, I just saw this picture of Martha in online, and it was so unbelievable. She was like this, almost like this evil witch, like a snow queen or something on Snow White or something. She was so beautiful and so shockingly dark, and I went, whoa. And I happened to be talking to our makeup artist, who we shared on the set at Days, and Jolene had said, she said, oh, it's a new series, and I think they're still casting. You should look into that. And I kind of took that like, I was given a direction, and I better find out who Michael Caruso is and find his number and call him. So I got a hold of Michael, and I said, I just saw this picture of Martha. Tell me about this, because I had not yet really started working with Michael Slade at this moment, but I was very inspired by a lot that I had seen at the ISA Awards in New York that year, because Patrika had taken me as a guest, and I got to see all this incredible content that people were creating.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, there's a show, it's like this, it's this, and you'd be interested? And I said, I think so. Yeah, let's try it on. And he gave me a role that was actually supposed to be it was written for a woman. And he said, I think we're too women heavy. I need to recalculate this. And he made it into this kind of like, I don't know, this caretaker of men in the forest, and who raises them and teaches them and coaches them how to go out into the world and become a Winterthorn. And so I just I took it. It had enough mystery. It had enough kookiness. It had enough color to play. And Michael was just very, very. Once he saw me in it, he was clear that this was my role, and I said okay. And it earned me an Emmy nomination, which was the first year they had opened the Emmy nominations to digital. So Mr. Caruso, I've always been indebted to, and working with him is great, and I would work with him again in a minute. And as far as Michael's concerned, Michael has given me this wonderful Michael teaches me as we go along. He's not setting out to do it, but I watch my example, and he's taught me how to be a very good writer, and he's given me the opportunity to express myself. And if anything, Michael has really completed the request of giving me a really great role to sink my teeth into and to play, who's fully flushed, and it's really that's what Michael Slade has really given me, and that comes from just getting to know each other and finding that your relationship is a good solid friendship, and it grows from there. So it's in the work.
You learn every day, no matter what your age, no matter what business you're in or not a business, but you learn every day. And that's a good thing, because otherwise how boring would life be?
Oh, amen. It's really
true
well
if you
said.
couldn't learn anything.
Yeah. And Michael Caruso, wow, he's so good at what he does. So
yeah, and he's flying right now. His series, his work, he's very, very creative and very, very good. I'm very happy for him.
Most definitely. Well, I think that's pretty much all for our questions. Would you like to add anything to it?
Mitchell?
Yes, watch the series on Amazon. April 24th.
Well, of course, we would say that, yes.
Well, here's what I'd like to add to that. Watch the series on Amazon beginning April 24th, and then write a review. Amazon is very review-based.
Never forget the review. Yes.
Yeah. Amazon is very review-based, and they help it grow and create more and more. And, if you like it, tell us. And then if you don't like it, forget it and tell us anyway you like it. So I just think that it's again, I want to thank Mitchell for coming onto this project. It's been so great, and I just had this great brother love for this man, and he's so wonderful. I want to just shout out to some other great cast members. If you don't know the cast, it's there's Jonathan Rayson, there's Peter Kim, there is Katie Huffman, who was a Tony Award-winning star of The Producers on Broadway. We have Jim. What's Jim's last name? Jim Mitchell. What's Jim's last name? Jim Newman. Jim Newman, who was one of the Village people. They just
Village people.
He was recent. Yeah, and then there's Anita Gillette and Lenny Wolpe, and I think and Mike McGowan. Oh, and Colleen Zank from As the World Turns. She plays a very pivotal role in this
we
show.
love her.
Yeah, you're going to love her in this too. Yeah, wonderful. So yes, please see the show. Please show your support and your love, and we'll try and give you more love back.
Yeah, I know you got to be working on season 2 already, right?
I wonder what his question came from.
We'll see about that.
I know
you guys
that this
know where
is going to be a hit. Yeah.
What'd you
Thank you so much.
Sam?
Thanks for
You
taking
guys
the
know
time.
where to come when season 2 starts. Come see us again.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
we'll do.
Yeah,
Thanks, Pam.
this is going to be a hit, and I'm looking forward to it. The 24th isn't that far away, thank God, because sometimes we have people on and their show doesn't debut for months in advance. I'm like, no, So this is good.
And
so tell our
you.
listeners where they can watch the trailer.
Yeah. Well, the trailer is on Facebook on After Forever the series. That's the Facebook handle. It's on our website, afterforevertheseries.com, and you can pretty much find the trailer there. It's weaving all throughout the internet. It's on Twitter, and
it's on
Instagram.
take2radio.com.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so not rehearsing, repeating that. Yes, it's on your site. Yes. I still got a lot in my head. I just want to also say, Pam, thank you for having us on, and thank you to all the fans who are keeping us in their hearts, and they want us to do more work. We're grateful that you still want us to come and bring some love into your life. So thank you.
You're very welcome. We truly appreciate you being on and taking the time. And Mitchell, the same for you. And Mitchell, are you on social media at all?
Well, I'm not so good at it, but I do it through the restaurant, but also it's metrofreshatl.com, and I have a Facebook page.
Welcome
for the same.
to the world.
I haven't come along in the social media world.
Allison Venor, our producer.
You should see some of Kevin's texts to me, so you're okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay, good.
But Allison Venor was setting up all the accounts, and she goes, "Did your friend Mitchell not know what the internet is?" I go, "No, I think he does. He has no handle anywhere." But we'll have to remedy that. But, welcome to social media, Mitchell. Oh, God.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll
Thanks,
let
everybody.
you guys go, and thank you again so much for joining us. I love you both, and we'll talk to you after we see the series.
Can't wait. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Wow. I just love them. I loved Kevin on Days. I loved him in Winterthorn and various other ways. And like I said, I'm new to Mitchell. And although I did watch somewhat Party of Five back in the day, so I must have seen him. Of course, you don't know everybody's real name when you're watching a series.
And that how long ago I sort of lost count, because didn't I see Doogie Howser too? Yeah. Doogie Howser played Dr. Jack McGuire. That must have been the part where Kevin had said, "Well, you did get to play a doctor," so yes. That must be the show he was talking about. But I mean, he's been on quite a bit of television shows. So it's great to see that, he still has interest in acting and, took on the role of Jason in After Forever. And I just can't wait. I really cannot wait to see this whole series when it comes out. I can't wait. It's going to be like any other one. You sit there and you binge watch the whole thing because, once you start watching something, you can't put your remote down. You're like, oh, I got to see the next part, because it leaves you hanging of something or whatever, So it'll be good. It will be. And so the trailer itself was a tearjerker. Mhm. Most definitely. That's why I said that's enough to hook you right there. But after hearing them,
talk about it. And like I said, their passion and everything. It's just, you got to see it. That's all there is to it. You got to see it. So, an update on Carolyn.
Yeah,
unfortunately, there's an outage all over Tampa Bay, so she was not able to call back in. So we're going to end the show tonight. There's not going to be any recap because of all our absentees and by no fault of their own.
Right.
And we hope that Anthony is doing well and hope to hear from him soon. So, David, thank you for joining me tonight. It was like old times with just you and I guess, right?
It was, and it is a pleasure working with you every day.
Oh, thank you. And you put up with so much. You put up with so much, too. So, behind the scenes, people, there's times that I'm ranting and raving, and it's not necessarily has to do with the show. It has to do with other things, and he listens. He gives his little advice, or he just gives me a virtual hug, and it's very much appreciated by myself, and I truly am blessed to have David as not only part of Take Two Radio, but part of my life.
Oh, God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
So with that, I will go ahead and close the show. We'll be back with the recap show.
I believe.
On the 26th? Okay, that was just going to ask you. I figured you would know.
26. 12 and 14 is 26.
Yeah, okay, 26 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. As far as we know, we're not having a guest that day, but anything can happen. So be sure to check out take2radio.com for upcoming shows, previous podcasts, guests and things like. There's tons and tons and tons of interviews, not just with people in daytime TV, but also primetime and films and authors and, you name it. We've interviewed tons of people. I think at this point there's well over 500 interviews. So, if you ever have a day where you're bored to death and you want to listen to something, you missed one of your favorite actors or something, or author. We had Barbara Taylor Bradford. That was back in the day when I was doing the show with Dawn, too, which was with one of my favorite authors. And, or was it? No, it wasn't with Dawn. That was with Mary. So just check it out and go to upcoming shows. And there's archives of the previous shows as well. Take a look around. Like our Facebook page, Take Two Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Take Two Radio. All of this is with the number 2. David is at Take Two Radio Crew. And when Carolyn is on the show, she's at Barefoot Blonde with the number 5. Candice is at Candy Pooh, and it's Pooh, like Winnie the Pooh. And Anthony is not on social media. Well, he's on Facebook, but he's not on Twitter.
Facebook.
Yeah.
But I do have news that he will be back. I heard that he will be back on Twitter because he has a project coming out that someone is helping him put together on his life and on his thinking, and it's going to be on Facebook. So it's a collaborative effort because, he can't do it by himself. So,
right. Okay, well, that's good. And then also follow Take Two Radio Soaps and Review on Twitter, and that's at T2R Soaps Review. And that's it for the night. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you come back again, and be sure to watch After Forever with Kevin-Spirtas and Mitchell Anderson on April 24th on Amazon, and please leave a review. Thanks again, everybody. Have a good night. God bless each and every one of you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Get connected with Take Two Radio on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio. For email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit TakeTwoRadio.com.